hello. Yes, that was me clapping and whistling there, everybody. Hello, welcome to Whose Views. This is Merchandise Paradise, and it's got a little bit of a twist on it because this one is live. Can you believe it? Yes, Merchandise Paradise Live. Welcome. If you are joining us in the chat, let us know about some of these wonderful things that we're going to be talking about as we go through the show. So thank you for coming along and having a look. We've got some updates for you as well, but because it's a slightly different show, I am not on my own, and I am delighted to say that from the Whotastic panel, joining me for this edition of MP Live, I've got Third Doctor Ian and I've got Bedouin. Hello, you two.
Hello.
Good
Hello.
evening. Hello.
Oh, look, welcome to Merchandise Paradise Live, and thank you so much for joining me.
Pleasure. Very exciting.
Anytime.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see what those two think about the stuff we're going to be talking about, and also, of course, what you think about as well. So hello, if you are in the chat, we will come to you very shortly. However, I just want to start actually with an update on the last Merchandise Paradise that I did as well, because you may remember, everybody, if you've seen that particular one, that I was telling you about a brand new BBC audiobook that you can pre-order now. It's that one down there. This is Destiny of the Daleks. It's going to be released on the 3rd of October. And you can pre-order it now for a CD recommended retail price of £20 or the download at £14. Now, since I was talking to you last on MP, we've had the cover, and here it is. You can also see there that the story is being read by John Culshaw with Dalek voices by whoever, guess who? Yes, it's Nicholas Briggs. But that cover, guys, brings back memories for me. What about you?
Yeah, it's the book, isn't it? It's a very faithful repro of the book there, which I think they should reflect the paper material they're based on. So I'm happy with that. That's going to be added to my collection, definitely.
Oh yeah, yeah. It makes me think. Actually, I think now. I can't remember things now because I'm permanently depressed. But it's a case of now. I think it was Raymond. That said after the last MP, it's a shame that they haven't decided to produce a new Target novelization on audio like they did with the Stones of Blood. Because if you remember, everybody, that was a certain vintage, Destiny of the Daleks was and it was very much one of those things that Terence Dix had been told, right, you've got 2 weeks to get this out, and he did, wasn't it? It was straight from script to page, really, and it wasn't as fleshed out. And I was when Raymond left, I think it was Raymond, and I think when I was thinking about that, when I saw his comment, I thought, they've missed an opportunity there, isn't it? So, if you're there, BBC Audio, how about it? How about getting somebody else to have a crack at that? So you've got the original, and then we've got a new version. Because I'd buy both.
I would as well. I think there's quite a few. I remember it getting quite exciting when a book went to 140 pages instead of the standard 127 or whatever, like Talons of Weng Chiang did or something like that. It was, extra pages. But things like Robots of Death, I think that ran to between 110 and 20 pages. And for such good stories to get such poor, no disrespect to the author, who was great, obviously, but you look at or you read Auton Invasion, things like that. Fantastic book, really gets into it, adds scenes to it and everything. And then you compare it to ones like these and you think they're really done an injustice. And I'd buy both as well. I'd buy something faithful and I'd buy something original too. Definitely. Yeah.
What about you guys in the chat? Let us know if you would. Let's have a look there, shall we, guys? What everybody is saying in there. Hello to everybody. Oh, hello. Look, Sam's with us. Hello, Sam. Nice to see you. Just Jordan. Hello. Nice to see you, lovely. Hope you are well. Kirsty's in the chat saying, boys in the merch live. I haven't a clue what that means. No idea. Yes, you're right, Sam. That was the Target cover, the original Target cover. That's what I like about the audio books now, because they are transferring the audio book, the Target book covers to the audio book, so there's that continuity. And I've said it on the show before, considering that they were painted all those years ago and they didn't realize that the format was going to have to go into a CD format as well, I think they work beautifully, really do. Neville is saying, oh dear, I don't have a lot of merchandise. Still, I'm sure it will be fun. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it will be fun, because it doesn't matter if you've got them or not. You can tell me whether or not you're going to get them or not going to get them. That's part of the fun of this new version of Merchandise Paradise, where we are live. What we got here, Mark is saying, I'm always ready for conversations and news on whose views. Well, like that. I'm having that.
Nice.
Get ready for conversations and news on whose views. Yes. There's a video coming very soon with that in, Mark. Thank you for that. And Sam is saying, David Fisher did that for the Stones of Blood and Androids of Tyra books. I love them. I think it makes a big difference if it's the original author. Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, though, when it comes to something like Terry Nation, they're not there. But you can get someone who can maybe embellish the story a little bit, because I don't know, Sam, if you've actually read the original Destiny of the Daleks. But as we were saying, I read it in an afternoon, I think, the day I got it when I was about 9 or 10, whatever it was, because it was so quick. And there's no padding in it. There's no adventure in it, really. Again, no disrespect to Uncle Terence, didn't have the time. And I think we were all a little bit disappointed with it. Do you remember that, actually? When it came out, we were all a bit sort of, ooh, that's very small.
But, well,
you want more, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Destiny's one of those stories that I was always underwhelmed with on TV and, well, on video when I was watching it. And as you say, JT, you kind of rip through the book really quickly because it is fairly short and doesn't really add too much. So, yeah, it would be nice to have it expanded a little bit more, make more of the, Romana regeneration or something like that.
The Mavellan plot?
Yeah, just more of the Mavellan, just push it out a bit more. That'd be nice. But
absolutely. I do have to say, actually, because I forgot at the top of the show, I have to say right now, all information and prices are correct as of this show, which has been broadcast to you live on the 5th of April 2024. So that's what I'm saying about that. I've got to put that there. But yes, so that's the first one. That's a kickoff from last one. That is Destiny of the Daleks. It's on the way for you. You can pre-order it now from all the usual stockists. And if you're collecting the Target audio range, then this is a must-have, I would say. Definitely. Another update for you as well from the last show, everybody, is I gave you last time the details for 2 of the 11th Doctor novels that are being taken to download only. Now, I showed you on the last edition of Merchandise Paradise the thumbnail that they're publicizing the volume 2 for, and I mentioned that volume 3 was on the way. Well, now I can tell you that volume 3 is on the way. This is the thumbnail you're looking out for, and this is, again, it's download only for £16. The 11th Doctor novels volume 3 is going to be available from the 5th of September. Now, this has got the voices of Arthur Darvill, Claire Corbett, Nicholas Briggs, and Mira Sayao, who are reading the 4 original stories originally published in paperback. Hunter's Moon, which is by Paul Finch, gets the travelers visiting Leisure Platform 9, where gamblers and villains mix with socialites and celebrities. In Touched by an Angel by Jonathan Morris, the Weeping Angels are using history itself as a weapon, and the Doctor, Amy, and Rory must stop them. In Paradox Loss by George Mann, an ancient android is dredged from the Thames with a message that can only be delivered to the Doctor. And in Borrowed Time by Naomi Alderman, the 3 friends go undercover at a bank where time is the commodity on offer for loan. Now, I've actually read in Touched by an Angel by Jonathan Morris. I loved that one. I thought it was really good. So that's the only one of these I've read when they came out on books. But this is the downloads only. The running time to this is 1,390 minutes. So not bad for the price you've got there. So that one is coming for you. That's the thumbnail you're looking for. Any of you guys doing the downloads?
I don't.
No.
I mean, it's quite a meaty download, that, isn't it? I mean, you're certainly getting your value for your money if those novels are your kind of thing. I collected some of the print versions for a while, but it annoyed me because when they went to Matt Smith, they changed the size, didn't they, of the books?
Few of them, yeah.
On a few they did, yeah, because he didn't have any consistency either through his era, and some of them were hardback and some of them were paperback. I actually got all these that they're releasing on audio in the slipcases because they took me back to the old Target book days.
Oh, okay.
And you could get them from places like W.H. Smith and actually Tesco was doing them as well for a little while. Yeah. So I'm quite lucky with those. But yeah, they were a bit odd. But as I say, that one I read by Jonathan Morris, Touched by an Angel, was very good. So there you go. So that was the update on that one as well. I love the conversation that's coming off into the chat here as well. We've got Kirsty saying, I want the teddy. With Just Jordan replying, there's a teddy? I immediately need. Yes, there is a Teddy coming up. You'll have to wait because he's going to be appearing a little bit later on. Just Jordan also saying, oh, I'll have to have a look at, and that's a thumbnail. I did pay above the odds for my K9 to add to my Dalek. Okay, well, it's all coming up for you. Mark is saying to us, I love the George Mann's War Doctor story, Engines of War. Yes. Did you read that one?
I did, yeah. Really good.
I can't say I did. I can't say I did, but there you are. But they're the updates from the last show for you. All right, so there we have those. Okay, so we're going to move on now. He says, moving all his paper away. We're going to move on now to, well, we're going to go to one of our favorites here on the channel. We're going to go to Telos, telos.co.uk, because they've got a new to paperback version of this. This is the Doctor Who production diary, The Hartnell Years. This is written by David Brunt, and as you can see there, it's a recommended price of $24.99 from telos.co.uk. Now, this is the first of a new series of books. Noted Doctor Who historian David Brunt presents the most detailed and comprehensive day-by-day record ever published of the show's production during the years 1963 to 1966, when, of course, Hartnell played the Doctor. During our many years of research and an exhaustive study of BBC archive documentation, including files not previously accessed by any other Doctor Who author, the book includes a wealth of newly discovered information and explodes some long-standing myths. So are you ready for this? Because there's a hell of a lot in this one. Listen to this. Which future Doctor Who scriptwriter was the first person approached to write for the series? It's like being on Who's Master, isn't it? Yeah. How major was the overhaul to the BBC drama department under Sidney Newman in '63, and who first suggested the idea which became Doctor Who before he even joined the BBC? How did the series manage to get made when several people inside the BBC tried to get it cancelled before it even went into production? Yes, there was a running theme that lasted 26 years. How long before he appeared as Stephen Taylor was Peter Purvis contracted for the role? Was Vicky going to appear in the Daleks Master Plan? These and other questions are all answered in this, the Doctor Who production diary, The Hartnell Years. Now I'll be able to pre-order as a paperback. So if you're aware of the hardback, or you didn't get it for whatever reason, you've got the second chance now to get this for $24.99 from telos.co.uk. And we love Telos on this show, don't we? There's an awful lot of stuff that they produce, but this one in particular, and I have to say, I do quite like that cover. It's a little bit spooky, isn't it? I like it.
Yeah, I must have missed this when it came out as a hardback, but that is certainly something that gets me interested. I love reading about stuff like that. It really gets my interest. Yeah,
has the hardback actually come out yet?
As far as I'm aware, I'm not too sure. I think it has because I saw a cover of it. But this one, I got all the details. This for the paperback version because I know a lot of our viewers like paperback for $24.99. So there you go. Pre-order that for $24.99. That is something that I will be pre-ordering. I have to say because I'm like you, and I'm really, really interested in that one. I really want to read up and see what's going on about that. Hello to Dalek, I Love You is joining us. Hi all, don't really do merchandise myself, just here for the fun of it. Fabulous. So let us know. And Garbage is saying, I'm almost home. I've been stuck on the M74 for an hour.
Oh.
That's Friday travel for you. Goodness me. But anyway, if you have a look at telos.co.uk, you can have a look at that particular one and you'll be able to see everything that's going on there and whatever version you want on there and whatever else they're doing. So that's quite exciting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the most highly anticipated books of the year, to be honest, because there's going to be a lot of information that people might not have heard of before in there.
Absolutely. I mean, who knows? We might even do a show about it if we all get to have a look at it. Going from one end of Doctor Who history to the other is this, again, from telos.co.uk. This is And Action, except probably not as camp, My Life in Television. This is written by Andrew Morgan. There you go, Andrew Morgan. Now, there's a name. You'll know him, of course, from Doctor Who, because he was the director of Time in the Rani and Remembrance of the Daleks. And in this book, Andrew lays bare the trials and tribulations of working as a director with stories of friendships, affairs, drama and happiness behind the scenes. Ooh. Quote from him here as well. When the location filming came to an end, there was a party in the Unit Hotel and we were entertained by Sylvester playing the spoons. He was brilliant, and JNT immediately wanted to put it in the script. And sure enough, a pair of alien spoons appeared in the Rani's laboratory, which Sylvester proceeded to play all over the Rani's chest. Andrew Morgan has enjoyed an amazing career in television, from the assistant floor manager in the 60s on programs such as The Troubleshooters, The Expert, and Sherlock Holmes. He moved to work as production assistant on Softly Softly, Warship, Walk with Destiny, Wings, and Coldest. Crikey, big shows. Before becoming a freelance director and bringing such gems as Who Pays the Ferryman, Secret Army, Blake 7, Doctor Who, Triangle, oh I love that, Swallows and Amazons Forever, Juliet Bravo, EastEnders, The Famous Five, The Prince and the Pauper, Casualty, and Heartbeat to the screen, along the way winning an Emmy Award for Little Lord Fauntleroy. And in this memoir, Andrew lays bare the trials and tribulations of working as a director, as he says there, with all the stories that he can remember. Available paperback, recommended retail price from telos.co.uk of $14.99. Does that interest anybody there? I've met him once at a convention years ago, and he was very entertaining. Very nice guy.
I mean, his two Who stories are quite varied in style, aren't they? Really.
Very.
But I mean, I'd be interested to know. That's quite a CV. Definitely, that's one hell of a CV. There's some amazing shows listed on there.
Yeah.
I tend to be a bit of a one-trick pony, really, when it comes to reading stuff like that. So I'd probably hone in more on his Who stuff just to see what I can pick up from the time. But that one could tickle the old fancy, definitely.
Definitely one I need to pick up, because I'm fascinated by the art of directing, and particularly in the BBC at that time, and how that's probably changed a little bit. You listed the shows that he's done, very different challenges that each of them, would have presented. You compare Remembrance of the Daleks, it's got loads of special effects and props and all that sort of stuff, compared to, EastEnders, which is very much multi-camera, simple in theory, but in practice, probably not. So, yeah, that variation will be fascinating to read.
I think so as well. It's available now because it came out on the 1st of April. So you can get it now from Telos at telos.co.uk. I just want to say hello to... now, because I'm from a certain area of the United Kingdom, that's Reenie to me. Reenie Curley. Hello, Reenie. But it might be Renee. So now I don't know. Let me know how I pronounce that one. But Reenie Corley saying, hi, does anyone know if I can get this stuff in the US? Now, when it comes to telos.co.uk, you can get direct, of course, from telos.co.uk, but you can also get it from Who.na, which is great because Telos have announced recently that Who.na will be taking an awful lot of their material. And this one is definitely one of them. So Who.na. Okay. So have a look at that. Have a look at them. Google them. And you can get that. So, yes, you can get them over there. You can get them from telos.co.uk, or you can also get them from Who.na. Ooh, isn't that lovely?
It is. I don't know if from that book cover he was a Wolves or a Hull City fan there. I don't know. It was definitely...
Oh, is it a football scarf, is it? Okay.
Well, possibly. I mean, it might be rugby, in which case it could be your
Wasps.
Knights. I don't know. Or Wasps, possibly. Yeah, I don't know. I would defer to on this one.
That didn't even occur to me. I didn't even see that at all.
Buy the book to find out.
Yeah. But yeah. Reenie's saying to us, Who.na? Yes, Who.na. Google them. Who North America. Big shop.
Is that a .co.uk? Do they have a website? Is it .co.uk? Well, it's not .co.uk, is it?
It's not .co.uk. Yeah, it's .com. It's .com. But if you hang on 1 second, I can show you that where we usually plug people are these: the Who Shop, Galaxy 4, and there you go, Who North America, which is whona.com. And you can tell them that Who's Views sent you.
Yeah.
And watch them turn to jelly. No kidding. But no, thank you. I hope that solved that little problem there for you. So that's really, really cool. So there we go. So that is only the beginning of what I've got for you guys, coming up with lots and lots of different things. What have we got? Oh, all right, Reenie love. She's saying, I will do that. That's fabulous. Good for you. You won't thank us though, I'm afraid. You'll look at these places and you'll go, and then ka-ching, 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 and then you'll be skinned, and then you'll be coming to complain to us. So blame these two. Okay, right now we're moving. We're going to stay on the bookshelf now for a little while as well, because we've got the latest updates from BBC Books and Penguin. Now, I don't know if any of you have been buying these things that have been going on for a couple of years now, which is the Doctor meets Arthur, or the Doctor has an adventure with pirates, or the Doctor is involved with some sort of Greek mythology, or one of these sort of things in the BBC Books and Penguin range. You know, there's been quite a few of them out now. Well, there's another one coming, and it's this one. This is Doctor Who in Wonderland. Yes, it's written by Paul Mars, and it's going to be available on the 25th of July with a recommended retail price of $9.99. Now, I'm not quite sure which Doctor this involves, because all the blurb I've got is embark on a strange and enchanting adventure with old friends and familiar foes in this glorious crossover of Doctor Who and Alice in Wonderland. The Doctor and his companions are visiting the dreaming spires of peaceful Oxford, hoping for a brief respite from their travels. But when Lewis Carroll appears at a garden party, everything changes. So as ever, that's the holding card for this particular book. As soon as we get the cover for this, we will put it back onto the show and let you know about it. But you can actually pre-order it now from all the usual stockists. Recommended price of $9.99. So if anybody is getting this in the chat, and if anybody's looked at all the other ones in this series, please let us know. Because I've been told the Camelot one was quite good. There was also a Wizard of Oz one, which involved Missy on the cover, if you remember.
Yeah, those two are on my shelf up there. Read the first one, wasn't massively fussed by it.
Okay.
Camelot one. And yeah, I haven't got around to reading the whatever it is to do with Oz. It's a weird idea. But yeah, I think I quite like the cover with Joe Grant, and
that's the Greek one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite nice. But yeah, this will be interesting because I think should we say Lewis Carroll might be a tricky individual to explore.
Yeah, I would think so. But Paul Mars is a stable writer. We know Paul Mars as well, so it could be an interesting that one. I like the last part of the blurb when they said when their fellow guests at the garden party transform into animals, they realize everything is not as it seems. And then it goes on to say, an unknown cosmic foe has trapped them in a twisted version of Alice's Wonderland. Separated from the TARDIS and from each other, their only hope of escape lies in cryptic clues teased by fan favorite characters from Carroll's classic tale. It sounds like one of those things to do with Wonderland that could be a nightmare, you know, because you've got all those little cubey bits putting all together, you know, and it's just like, oh my goodness, so good luck on that one if you're going to get that one. Let us know when you do get it, if you're going to get it, let us know how frustrated you get.
Magic, fantasy, and make believe. It sounds like a Précis for Gatwell's season 1, doesn't it? Really.
Well, maybe that's where I get the idea. Actually, maybe who knows? But you know, that's it's there for you if you want it anyway. Now, as Ian has mentioned, Gatwa's first season, I might as well just tell you about some news that I've also been sent. There is a brand new series of Doctor Who novels coming, starring the 15th Doctor and Ruby. Now, this has been traditional now since 2005, where we got the 9th Doctor novels, didn't we, with Rose, and then it's carried on. So this isn't really a surprise, but we do have some very, very brief details about this, because they haven't given much away. But I can tell you that the first one, whatever it's going to be titled, will be available on the 13th of June, so we believe, and it's been written by Georgia Cook. Now, Georgia Cook has written several Big Finish audio adventures, but this will be her first Doctor Who prose novel. That's all I know about that one. And then there's another one coming on the same day, which is probably by Una McCormack. And again, Una McCormack, she's written loads of audio novels. She's a name. She's loads of actual physical novels. That's all we know about it. And then there is a third one, which will appear, so we believe, later on in the year. So that's just to let you know there is a 15th Doctor novel range coming. As soon as we've got more details of that, of course, including all the covers, we'll put them on Merchandise Paradise and we'll get them out to you so you can have a look and you can decide whether you want them.
So they're dropping 2 on the same day. Is that dictated by Disney then?
Oh God, can you imagine if Disney have got into BBC Books and Penguin as well?
Would be horrific.
Well, actually, they may have done, and we'll come to that very shortly in the show because we've got a couple of other things in there, so you never know. Thinking about what's coming up. Thank you very much for watching. This is Who's Views. This is Merchandise Paradise. Kirsty is saying that these books will probably be better than the show. Sometimes the books are. You know, some of them have been fantastic, haven't they?
Well, when your imagination is allowed to let rip, you know, and you're not dictated to, your imagination tends to be not as preachy, doesn't it, really?
Well, we might find that the Doctor Who books are remaining Doctor Who-ish. Who knows? Let's not get into that on this show, but who knows? They could be, couldn't they? They could be writing Doctor Who as Doctor Who was. Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's go on with it. I'm back to this one because we've got something out coming up, and we're going to jump ahead to the 15th of September now, everybody, with a new, or the latest edition of apparently what is the blurb says, this much loved anthology. Now this apparently is much loved, and so much loved that this thing has been out several times already, but this is the latest cover for it. This is Doctor Who, 15 Doctors, 15 stories, available for pre-order now at a recommended retail price of $16.99. Right, here we go. 15 wonderful tales of adventure, science, magic, monsters, and time travel, featuring all 15 Doctors. They're all waiting for you in this very special Doctor Who volume. This also includes a bonus story starring the 14th Doctor and a very familiar foe, and a brand new, very exciting and very exclusive new tale that will feature the 15th Doctor, written by best-selling author Farada Apikiliimidi. I don't know how you say the name. So sorry about that. But that's the person that the woman that wrote the Church on Ruby Road book, I think.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's her there. So Farada Apikiliimidi. Don't know, but there you go. That's the cover for it there. That's what to look out for if you've got that, if you're after that, and if you want an update on the other 2 volumes that you've probably got.
So I suppose the 10th and the 14th Doctor are basically exactly the same character, really, aren't they?
Must be. There's just this is the problem now with the books, isn't it? Because they're all saying, "Oh, this Doctor and that Doctor and this Doctor and that Doctor." Well, we didn't have that problem before, did we? No, it was just the Doctor. It was just the Doctor.
They had their own styles and everything, and apart from being inquisitive and pseudo-gay, the 14th Doctor was just the same as the 10th Doctor, really, wasn't he?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Other writers, other authors in this, it's interesting that they really put out the lady Farada Apikiliimidi. You know, she's the first one, written by best-selling author.
Trying that, you know.
I've tried. Apologies, but it's not.
That's good credit to you there.
Thank you. But listen to this. Obviously, she's getting the main focus, but it says other authors featured include Owen Colfer, Michael Scott, Marcus Sedgwick, Philip Reeve, Patrick Ness, Rochelle Mead, Mallory Blackman, Alex Skaro, Charlie Higson, Derek Lanley, Neil Gaiman, Holly Black, Naomi Alderman, and Steve Cole. It's 656 pages. What gets me, though, of course, is that, is there some sort of message or agenda in this? Am I reading too much into it? When you've got people like Neil Gaiman, Steve Cole, Charlie Higson, Mallory Blackman, Ian Colfer, Patrick Ness, who are names of young people's books that I actually know and have been around a lot longer, and yet this young person who's written, as far as I know, 2 books gets the headline, you know? I don't know.
Just see mod.
Yeah, I would have thought, you know, Mallory Blackman, Patrick Ness, very established names in literary circles. For me, you'd have them front and center, but, you know.
You would imagine it'd sell more, wouldn't you?
I would have thought so.
I'd like to know how much the Church on Ruby Road has sold. I'm going to look into that. Let's see if we can get that sorted for a future MP. Am I the only one who can't take to Neil Gaiman, says Kirsty? No, I'm with you. I've never been able to either. Sorry. Just never been able to. That's just me. There you go. But anyway, if you're interested in that one, that's from BBC Books and Penguin. 15 Doctors, 15 stories in paperback. You can pre-order it now from all the usual stockists a recommended retail price of $16.99. Not something that's going to be hitting my shelves, I have to say. Okay, something else that's been announced, and I've got some details for it, is coming up. Now, this is another one of those, I think, one of those things that they're trying to bring out for the anniversary. This is Doctor Who, the official guide. This is due to be released on the 15th of September, 272 pages at £20 as a recommended retail price. With exclusive content from Ncuti Gatwa's first outing as the 15th Doctor, discover more about the Time Lord who has been keeping the Earth safe for over 60 years. This brand new edition is the ultimate guide. They always say it's the ultimate guide, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, always. The ultimate guide to all of the Doctor's 15 incarnations, from William Hartnell to Tom Baker, and including both of David Tennant's eras. You will learn fascinating facts from all of space and time. Discover more about the Doctor's many helpful companions, fearsome foes, and of course the TARDIS, who has been through it all. Learn the difference between regeneration and bi-generation, why you should never anger a meep, and always get cherry sundae, a cup of tea. Always get cherry sundae, a cup of tea.
Oh, she.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course, the grandmother.
Yeah, the character in. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I'm with you on that one. But does that excite you?
Nope.
Not at all.
I mean, let's make a comparison. So this is another version of the Ultimate Guide, but the sounds of it is focusing more on Ncuti Gatwa's first season, which I'm sure will be covered by Doctor Who magazine, and they'll have a special with that sort of stuff, because they normally do at some point. I'm far more interested in the William Hartnell years production diary.
Yeah.
From Telos,
because that's not going to be stuff that I've read before. This will be stuff that I will have got a sense of with the Unleashed series, or there'll be enough material about production and stuff like that. I won't necessarily learn all that much more, because these things, whenever they're specifically BBC produced, are very top of the pond kind of. They don't delve into massive details. Doctor Who magazine stuff does do that when they have the opportunity to do those yearbook type editions. But yeah, this one, I mean, we'll wait and see. If it's a whole 60-year span, then
well, I don't,
how are you going to do that in
272 pages?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. We have to look at it. We have to see about it, but it doesn't attract me either at all. I mean, I think these books that are saying that they are, the update. For me, they've worn out of usefulness now, because I'm just not interested in anything that's happening now. Not really. I'm not interested in how they put it together. Standing in front of a green screen or whatever. I'm not interested. I've seen it all before. So I'm like you. I'll get the one from Telos, but not necessarily this one, unless there's something amazingly different about it. Because I go back to the Celebration in 1983, and we've had one more or less every year since then, including the brilliant one from David J. Howe and and Stephen Walker about the 60s, the 70s, the 80s.
Yeah.
And they were all there, weren't they? So from our point of view, we've got absolutely fantastic chronicles of those years, of all those fantastic original 26 years. These things just to be, I don't know, they just seem to be a case of putting stuff out there and hoping they sell.
Yeah.
If they're talking about old stuff, or if they focus on old stuff, when Howe, Stammers and Walker did those Decades books,
oh, wonderful,
great, and the handbooks, which were great.
Yeah.
And all the other stuff. When they were being written, a lot of the people involved were still alive and they could speak to them. Now, anything they do on that era is going to rehash, and it's going to be second, third, fourth hand. And it just doesn't have the same impact. But I mean, in their explanatory blurb now, are they saying that there are only 15 Doctors again? Are they saying Hartnell's the first one now? Because it seems to me that they are. They don't even know their arse from their elbow anymore, do they? They've buggered it up so much. They let Chibnall off his silly little leash so much that it's absolutely screwed. When that Dizzy Bint left, then there was on that cliff edge that frankly she should have fallen off. The whole series was so messed up. You know, how many Doctors, how many before Hartnell? You know, why isn't in this 15 stories, why isn't there a story of the little black girl that was #1? I mean, surely that's a key figure, isn't it? Or doesn't she exist anymore? They've just completely lost their way. They've messed it up, and it's pointless now.
Well, I can't wait for the Joe Martin fans to kick off about there not being a fugitive Doctor story in there.
Yeah.
Surely they're a minority, because nobody was really watching the series, were they? Sorry.
They always were a minority,
Right,
but
yeah.
they'll still kick off, won't they? I mean, exactly like Bedweir says, they will kick off.
They'll be very vocal about it. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to hearing what they're saying about it. But I think this is one of those things. I don't know if you have in the UK, if you have a Works near you now, because a lot of them closed down. But this is one of those books I expect to see in the Works. The remainder shops. And this sounds. I'm terribly sorry, BBC Books and Penguin, but this sounds like one of those things that I think is going to end up there if any of those remainder shops are still around. Because I can't see them being big hits.
Yeah, it does depend how it's presented. I mean, again, I go back to the Doctor Who magazine stuff when they have just simple things like what dates and what locations were they filming stuff. That sort of thing I find particularly fascinating because I'm interested to see, they've had to go back and that's clearly a reshoot because it's 3 months after the main block, or okay, I wouldn't have expected them to have done that bit last, or something along those lines. Yeah. I don't think this will have any of the detail because BBC Book stuff rarely does.
Well, we shall see. It's that bit that gets me at the end, though. Learn the difference between regeneration and bi-generation. Why you should never anger a meep and always get Cherry Sunday a cup of tea. It just sounds a bit. It sounds to me like it shouldn't be Penguin. It should be Puffin, which is the kids' range. We'll see when we get more details of it. We'll pop it back in the show and see what you guys think about it as well. But that, if you are looking at that, it's available to pre-order now, 15th of September 2024 for £20. I'd wait a little while and see what other details are coming of it before you pre-order it. Okay, well that's what I would say anyway. That's just my JT's tip of the show. Okay, so we'll move on. A couple more books for you now. We've got this one that's coming up now, though. This is called Doctor Who: The Prequels. Okay, so this is coming on the 3rd of October. It's 304 pages. It's a hardback book, and it's a recommended retail price of $16.99. I can hear the groans already. Well, I'll go through the book now. Again, this is not the cover. This is the holding cover for the booksellers, so they know what's coming. And they can pre-order it for the shops. But this is exactly as it suggests. And wait till you hear the blurb for this.
Oh, go on, JT. Ruin my day.
Stand by your beds. Here it comes. Discover what happened before. What did Osgood do the morning of the day of the Doctor? What happened to Tegan before Arc of Infinity, and why does it involve strange sentient lights in the Australian outback? What was the 10th Doctor doing in a hall of mirrors right before Planet of the Dead? Answers to all these questions lie in an incredible collection of new Doctor Who short stories that give a glimpse into the moments just before we saw the Doctor step on screen. From Skaro to Apalapucia, wherever that is, from a shop-fronted drain of colour to Razalon's tomb, these are always written really badly, join a host of incredible adventures across the universe with doctors, companions, friends, and foes. Now, I have to say, this isn't absolutely groundbreaking because Preludes was a feature of Doctor Who magazine in the 90s to the New Adventures and the Missing Adventures. So this just seems to be like dusting off an old idea and bringing these out again. But here it is in a 304-page hardback book, available to pre-order now and available on the shelves from the 3rd of October for $16.99 RRP.
I mean, I've recently been, a bit of a critic of Big Finish churning out stuff, but they were very smart, particularly early on, of identifying spaces between stories and giving you more stories. This sounds like, we'll just tack on an extra bit before a story takes place and it'll be great. But I'm not interested in any of that sort of stuff unless it's a fully developed story that just happens to take place before something else. But to label it as a prequel, they're obviously trying to lead into the next thing. If it's Tegan in the outback before she flies to Amsterdam, it's like, any relevance? No, probably not.
No.
Doesn't sound like a James Bond intro, does it? I mean, where's the story we've all been asking for? I want to know where the guy rented his flatbed truck from that he used to nick the TARDIS at the start of Evil of the Daleks. These are questions that need answering, but they're just not there, are they?
No, they're not there at all. It does seem to be another element here, again, where the printing stuff so that Doctor Who can have a profile, when it comes to, look at the amount of merchandise here. The proof in the pudding is not necessarily the amount of merchandise to print out there, but the quality. And will this sell? I don't know. If you're in the chat, if you're not in the chat, come into the chat. They're all lovely in the chat. Come and tell us what you think about all this, all these pre-orders that are on the way here on MP Live. Mark is telling us, Doctor Who: The Key to Time book was a big part of my youth and introduction to fandom. A lot of people, yeah, because that was the sequel to the Celebration. Do you remember, for the 21st year back in '84? Sam is saying, we've got a works. I went down and bought some printer paper only yesterday. I'm glad you've still got one, because I haven't got one now because they closed it for some stupid reason. But keep an eye out.
Have some toilet paper soon, aren't they?
The great thing is, Sam, you've got to go in all the time because occasionally you can see some Doctor Who stuff. Don't buy any of the rip-offs. That's all I'm going to say. Buy the official BBC stuff if it gets in there. Dalek, I Love You is saying definitely should be puffing for the new season. Stay tuned. I'm going to become to that shortly. And Kirsty is saying she's sending you thoughts and prayers and lighting a candle for you all, seeing the pain as we go all these. And Sam is saying, she's hiding in the chat. And Sam is saying about the prequels, answers to all the questions we didn't want to ask or never thought of in the first place. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's true though. It's funny, but it's true, isn't it? Hello, Timescales is joining us in the chat as well. I'm still waiting.
Let's be honest. We've recently had the prequel to Genesis, where we had a new Davros and all that garbage. So I'm not going to be overly excited about what could transpire with this.
Yeah.
No, and it does feel that. I mean, if you look at it there is the puffin on that book. Now, this is the kids' book, so this is a puffin book. Everybody, Puffin is, for those of you outside the UK, Puffin is the child's division of Penguin Books. It always was. It was massively successful back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, into the 80s. It's still around today. That is the holding card, as you can tell there, but it is a Puffin book. But it's $16.99 as a hardback. They've got a lot riding on that, because if the next version of this show isn't a big success in 7 weeks, 8 episodes, I can't see Mummy and Daddy buying that. Can you, for their kids at $16.99?
Well, crucially, I can't see the little one asking them to buy it.
No, that's the point. There's much more exciting things out for them now, isn't there? Really, as well. So time will tell.
Ditch the puffin and introduce the dudder. A little bit more appropriate.
Oh dear. All right, so that one's there for you as well. That's the prequels coming on Puffin. Yes, and that's going to be the 3rd of October, $16.99, available to pre-order now. It is a hardback. We're going to jump, actually. Now, this is another one, actually, where this is written by Steve Cole, and I'm going to send my apologies to Steve Cole now, because, again, I'm judging this before I've seen it. This is the sort of book I would want to see before I buy it, because we've just been talking about things like the successors to A Celebration, The Key to Time, the one they did for the 40th, the one they did for the 50th, the one they did when the show was coming back for the 30th, the one, all of them. But here's another one, and this one is actually quite weird in my eyes, because this is called TARDIS, Memoirs of an Impossible Blue Box. Now, this apparently is the TARDIS talking to Steve Cole. As you can see, it's going to be available on a hardback and on a CD. It comes out on the 11th of June. And again, it's available to pre-order now. I have the blurb for you. The Doctor has a unique bond with their TARDIS. His TARDIS, I'm going to say. He's always loved the old girl for the way she's gone looking for trouble anywhere in the universe. The Doctor says he stole the TARDIS from Gallifrey. The TARDIS disagrees. She stole him. She hasn't always taken him where he wants to go, but she's made sure. God, switching these bloody pronouns now, I'm absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, but she's made sure to take him where he needed to be. For the TARDIS is far more than just a time machine crossed with a spaceship. Her life reflects the Doctor's life, a shared wanderlust and longing to explore. Now you can revisit the Doctor's adventures as seen through the eyes or the flashing rooftop light, at least, of the TARDIS. From the time the Doctor stole her from Gallifrey to her latest adventures with the 15th Doctor, the TARDIS reflects wittily on her epic, incredible history, past, present, and future. But aren't there two versions of the TARDIS now? So how would one know? I mean, it's just, again, they've mucked it up again, haven't they, for this? So, I mean, interesting idea, but thanks to the premise of the show, load of nonsense.
I mean, it can only be relevant to the, the stories where the TARDIS is actually involved in some way. Because what's going to, it's going to reflect on, I remember being stood on that weird jungle on Skaro and everything around was nuked. And
I remember being abandoned on Nerva Beacon.
Yeah. It's like, so many, the TARDIS is a tool to get to a story. It's a brilliant tool, don't get me wrong. But yeah, short of, the fifth Doctor and his companions were wandering around trying to find the Zero Room. I knew where it was all along. That just, I can't, I can't see where this is going at all. And Steve Cole is, is really good as a writer and has done a lot for Doctor Who.
Yep.
Well, through the 90s, really onwards.
Yep. And some very enjoyable stories.
Absolutely. Yep. So. He stands as good a shot as any of trying to make this work, but I can't understand the logic behind it.
Does it say on the CD who the voice of the TARDIS is? If we hear the TARDIS talking, is it what's her face from Doctor's wife, or?
I wouldn't have thought it was, and it doesn't. I don't have that information at all, but I can tell you that the CD is £20, recommended retail price of £20, but the download will be £14. Both formats, or all the formats, the hardback with 304 pages at £19.99 RRP, the CD at £20 RRP, and the download at £14 are all available on the same day, the 11th of June. Yeah.
On Nicholas Briggs.
I don't know who's reading the book at all, I'm afraid. But if I find out, I will pop that back in at some point. But there's what you're looking for. The TARDIS book itself, if you can just make out on the left-hand side that it has a sort of one of those sort of canvassy black spines on it. It looks like from the old days. So that is it's an interesting design. Works better, I think, on the CD. Let's have a look and see what you're saying in the chat about that one. Does that interest you? I don't know. No, it doesn't really, does it? Timescales are saying to us the TARDIS wasn't stolen; it was borrowed to save the life of a companion. But what they've done there, of course, is they've set it up after the Doctor's wife, haven't they? And all that dialogue in there, which at the time I was cringing, thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Neville is saying to us, modern merchandise seems to have lost its way, the same way the show has. I think that's true, but I think it's because they don't know what their audience is. What about you guys?
I don't think, there was a time when you could say what the premise of Doctor Who was, and I don't think they can do that now. I think, like I said before, they've mucked it around so much. They've mucked about with the very core elements of what Doctor Who is, that I don't think they can describe it or explain what it is anymore. So everything is going to be trying to hit the mark, but the mark is either very, very blurry now or constantly shifting. I think it's lost its way completely.
Yeah, I would agree. I think things like the collection box sets are relatively simple. They are re-releasing spruced up high definition versions of the episodes with some good bonus features, and they sell really well. They're hugely popular when it comes to screenings and all that sort of stuff. We've talked before about the animations, how they've kind of lost their way from being ways of recreating stories that are missing so people can have them on their shelves and experience those stories, to entirely new creative endeavors to tell what had been a story once upon a time. And it's the same with a lot of the merchandise now. The figures are very much aimed at a collector's market, but haven't fully embraced that in terms of things like some of the Star Wars ranges that are a higher price point.
Don't want that happening.
But then there's more money for tooling and all that sort of stuff that goes into it. They still are hoping for that general audience that's no longer there for the 6 to 12-year-old, say, that's going to go past and say, I would like that Dalek toy for this weekend's little treat, thank you very much. That's not happening, because you're now seeing loads and loads of that stock on the shelf, because once the collectors have got what they want, that general audience isn't there. And it's the same kind of with the novel ranges and things like that. It's not appealing to a general audience because it's gone, and it's not appealing enough to the collectors because there's too much of just general book releases after book releases. It's not grabbing anyone.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a shame, really, isn't it? I mean, as a collector myself, I look at all this stuff coming out and it just doesn't excite me. Whereas once upon a time, things would excite me. And as I say, I'm getting more excited now from people like from the independents. And we're going to come to a couple more independents very, very shortly, so stay with us. But I like what they're producing more than what is actually official, because the official don't seem to be looking at the audience that would normally buy them, which is the core Doctor Who fans, which may be of a certain age group. Basically, it does seem that they're tending to go for a lot of the younger ones, or what they assume the fan base is. But that one was TARDIS.
Yeah, sorry, I mean, you started with the Destiny of the Daleks novelization being read on audio. I remember reading that one. It's going to be Target novelizations on audio CD is great. Again, that's not your general audience who's going to pick that up. It's going to be your collectors of a certain age who remember the Target novels.
And also I do know some of the younger ones are buying them, especially because there's a few of them I know. There's one young lad that I know that's buying them because he can't read properly. He's having problems reading and with his eyesight and stuff like that. So audiobooks are so important. I'm such a fan of audiobooks. People with dyslexia or whatever can access the stories. And also because some of those books are still out of print, they might not be able to find them. When they do get re-released under the new banner, they're very expensive. I mean, we were paying 35p, 40p for the books back in the day. Now you're looking at the new versions of the Target range, $8.99, $9.99 for a paperback. No, you might as well buy the audio version when it comes out. So it's lovely to know that some of the youngsters are buying those. But there is a place definitely for them, isn't there?
No, I've started picking up quite a lot of the the novelizations. I initially started off as wanting to get missing stories, but it's expanded and I've now got loads. But they are really good. Yeah, but they are really, really great. But again, your general audience member is not going to pick those up. So
no, not at all.
That is at least a positive, and maybe as they can do or have done previously a bit more and expand and add to things like Destiny, then you'll get more and more interest that way. But
well, I think they've enjoyed having a very, very, very loyal merchandise audience for a long time that bought stuff during the 16 years it was off, and then came back with a vengeance and made it a success, or helped to make it a success, all the merchandise from 2005. But I think they've treated that audience with absolute contempt and just assume that whatever they do, whatever they say, however they talk down, and remember again how Dippy Bint referred to the male gaze and don't be afraid of my gender and all this bollocks when she first started, before she'd filmed anything. There was that contempt, and they think that audience will just come back, and like Bedouin, they won't. That audience is gone.
Yeah, and that will affect the merchandise sales, as I think we've started to see over the last 4 or 5 years. Mark is saying to us in the chat, hello, welcome to everybody for joining us. This is Merchandise Paradise Live. If you're not in the chat yet, come into the chat, come and tell us what you think about all these new pre-orders you can get, or things that have just hit the shelf right now. Mark is telling us, when a show no longer follows canon, whether in terms of storyline, character development, or other aspects, it can have various effects on related merchandise, including books and CDs. Yeah, I think the big thing about that is if you alienate your audience, as Ian's alluding to there, you don't have anyone to buy the stuff either way, because we're certainly not buying as much as we used to. I'm actually secretly, in a sense, quite happy about that, because I used to spend a fortune on Doctor Who merchandise, and we all did here. And now there's just nothing that really grabs me at all. And Dalek, I Love You is saying there were iconic monsters and characters like K9 from the classic eras, Daleks, the Cybermen, etc., that children wanted. Now what have they got? Statues. I can't think of anything else. Fair point. And that's why at one point the action figures sort of shook a little while, and you could only get certain ones, and then they shrunk, and then they Timescales is saying to us here, TARDIS is not showing the reader on any listing. The audio may not have been recorded yet. Possibly. Very possibly. Very possibly. But that's that one for you. Thanks for your comments on that, guys, as well. That's TARDIS. That's going to be available for you. If you're interested to pre-order now, comes out, a hardback book, $19.99, CD, £20, and download £14 on the 11th of June. So not that long. We might even get to look at it in one of our shops and then tell you all about it. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. I do have a slight update for you now on the last show. If you watched the last Merchandise Paradise, we're going back to Puffin books for this one. You'll know that I told you about these. These are the holding pictures for Icons Volume 1 and Icons Volume 2. Well, lo and behold, in the last couple of weeks, I've been told Icons Volume 3 is coming as well. Yay! That's so exciting. Details are as follows. They're coming out all on the same day, the 24th of October, with a recommended retail price of $8.99 each. They are the Puffin brand, and they are paperback. And I can give you the blurb for each of them. Because Icon 1 is when a strange signal echoes through time to the heart of the TARDIS, the Doctor follows it to the home of Shirley Jackson. But the strangeness deepens when they find a sinister figure sowing chaos and discord with the use of a glowing box, encouraging a crowd to murderous deeds. Catapulted back to Shirley Jackson's own era by the TARDIS, the Doctor, with the help of the time-struck author, must discover the origins of the box and the terrible power that it wields. That's all I know about that. For Icon 2, out on the same day, the 10th Doctor meets the constantly curious Charles Darwin in the second of these 3 brand new novellas, starring and inspiring characters from history. When Charles Darwin takes a break from a long sea voyage to look for shells on the Galapagos Islands, he finds 2 things that really shouldn't be there. The first is a sunbathing Doctor. The second is a fresh Silurian skull. When more Silurians are discovered by Darwin's crew, alive this time, there is pandemonium. And when the island's volcano starts erupting years ahead of schedule, it looks like all-out war. The Doctor has his hands full. Can he keep Charles and his evolutionary theory alive? The history of science is at stake. And then number 3, 160 pages, is... Sorry?
I think I know what Bedouin is thinking.
Okay. Well, this one is number 3. The 13th Doctor meets the illustrious artist Frida Kahlo in the last of 3 brand new novellas. Young Frida Kahlo is angry, injured in a terrible accident. She lives with constant pain and worries that her dreams are unreachable. But when the TARDIS lands in Mexico City, drawn by a strange disturbance in its energy fields, Frida's life is turned upside down. Aliens have arrived, taking over the bodies of children and killing anyone who gets in their way. With the fate of Earth at stake, the Doctor and Frida must find a way to understand their alien invaders and each other. So yes, these again are all available to pre-order now from certain stockists. All out on the 24th of October. Paperback books for children. Recommended retail price of $8.99 each.
Yeah. So those that missed, I have pulled Doctor Who Blood Tide off the Big Finish shelf. Yeah, that is Silurians, Charles Darwin, the Galapagos Islands, and that was 2001 according to this. So yeah, nothing like rehashing an old idea.
How many times can Charles Darwin meet a version of the Doctor and be surprised? He'll get like the Brigadier eventually, surely. Which one are you?
And in fairness, this is really good. So honestly,
It is.
I remember that one. Yeah,
really, really good. So if you've got your Big Finish account, I think some of their their main range, certainly from early on, is very cheap to download. Well worth it. Don't pay $8.99. Listen to that instead.
Thanks for that, Brett Beer. Well off on a tangent there. Timescales is saying to us, surprising that the TARDIS has never been to Mount Fuji. I may have to bribe an author to make that happen. Listen, give it time. They'll find out eventually what they're trying to do, and they will do that eventually. Interesting though that it's 3 more children's books from the Puffin range on the same day. Yeah, again, I'll be looking to see if I can find them on the shelves and have a look at it. Will it be those sort of large print books, or are they going to be, for a certain age of kid? I don't know. But these are obviously, it says here, they star in starring inspiring characters from history.
Okay, I didn't catch the first one. I didn't connect with that one.
No, Shirley Jackson. I don't know who that is. Excuse my ignorance, but apparently she's an author. But why was she inspiring? She's not part of our history then, surely. I don't know.
I mean, Charles Darwin will probably be portrayed as a black African anyway, won't he?
Well,
let's be right.
I mean, Frida Kahlo. I mean, she's had an awful lot of press since 2020 in education systems, in the education circuit, certainly because she's a black artist, or was a black artist. And that's put her on there. So maybe they've looked at these 3 people and thought, well, hang on a minute, they're being presented in the schools. Let's write Doctor Who novels around them. It's not Doctor Who Discovers, is it?
No, it isn't. I just don't know why. I don't know why they're bothering. I think it is, just as we've said before, merchandise for the sake of merchandise. Just write it, do a Doctor Who slant on it, slack the label on, and hope that mythical audience is also a merch buying audience.
I don't have the authors for those actually, by the way, but I can update you on Merchandise Paradise in the future as well. But there you go. They are updated
anyway, are they?
I'm sure we'll get to see those in the covers at some point in the next couple of months. But yeah, maybe they're aiming at the school libraries for those sorts of things as well as the bookshops. But again, I'd be very interested to see how. What?
Do schools still have libraries? Have they had to get rid of those to pay their heating bills?
A lot of them have. I have heard that certain schools have like little teeny weeny closets now, as it were. For these, which they call the library now. It's such a shame. Such a shame. Terrible.
No,
but there you go.
I remember getting. I think it was Sontaran Experiment school library. Well, it wasn't a library; it was a bookshelf at the back of the English room. Yeah.
Well, I was lucky in the schools I went to because we had libraries. From what I can remember, I definitely remember the one at primary school. I don't really remember the one at secondary school because we did try to avoid it. Dalek, I love you. Excuse moi, Phil, if you're watching, look away now, because Dalek, I love you. I'm surprised the Doctor has never met H.G. Wells. Surely there is a story there. Who's going to break the news to Dalek, I love you?
I think Phil needs to pop on and make a special announcement of his outrage and shock.
Yeah. Well, the Doctor has met H.G. Wells, Dalek, I love you, in his 6th incarnation on television, and it was called Time Lash. So if you haven't seen that yet, we will be reviewing that. Yes, we're going to be reviewing that in the future because it's one of Phil's favourite So that is going to be here. Kirsty is saying, childhood memories when the book roadshow would come for parents' night. Be a good kid, get a book priceless. Yes, absolutely. You had to be, when the book club things came through, you had to be really good, didn't you? And do the washing up and all that sort of stuff. It was rubbish, but you got a book at the end of it, so that was really good. So anyway, we've got that one there. Another one from BBC Books Penguin, the Puffin range there, the Icons, volumes 1, 2, and 3, 24th of October. $8.99 each if you're interested in that one for the kids. Might be worth looking at them first when you get them in the shops. Just saying. Let's get back to something that I hope we can all because this has been announced, and this is for me very exciting, and I'm definitely getting this one. This is from Panini, and this is the complete Backup Tales Volume 1, and this is the Return of the Daleks by Steve Moore, author, David Lloyd, the illustrator, Steve Dillon, illustrator, and Paul Neary, illustrator. These are, of course, the backup strips from Doctor Who Weekly. I'm a bit concerned because it does say it's volume 1, so this could go on for quite a while, but this is coming out on the 1st of July. It's available to pre-order now, as you can see there. And the blurb says, discover timeless tales of Daleks, Cybermen, Silurians, and many more in this brand new collection from Panini. These backup tales taken from the early days of Doctor Who Weekly are a highly sought after and much loved slice of Doctor Who comic book history. And they're now back in print for the first time in decades, featuring the work of British comic book legends Moore and David Lloyd. Each strip has been digitally restored to the highest quality, ensuring that these thrilling stories can be enjoyed at their absolute best. Now, this is actually continuing a range because we've had several of these now. We've had the Fourth Doctor Anthology, which is a really big tome if you got it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I think it's coming off the success of those two Dalek ones that they did over the last couple of years, you know, where they brought the Dalek ones out, because they were massively successful. People bought those. The Fourth Doctor Anthology has also sold. So I think this is the start of another trend. So now we're getting these fabulous and classic backup strips, which our generation, well, myself and Ian will remember these from the Doctor Who Weekly days. You had the Doctor in his comic strip at the front, and then you went to the back, and then you had some completely different spin-offs set in the entire what is now the Whoniverse, though, and they were always brilliant. Absalom Dack was in there, Croton, the Cyberman with emotions, the Sontaran one. Do you remember that? They were just brilliant strips, weren't they?
But I mean, the book cover there is that. I mean, that Dalek. It's nice to see Cuddles. I think Dark called that Dalek Cuddles, didn't he? And it's nice to see Cuddles getting a cover, but. Quite a lot of these have come out recently, if they are around Dark and the group of mercenaries that he pulled together. Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's another rehash. I mean, how many? I'm looking down at my shelf over there, and how many times have I got Absalom Dack in the various forms? How many times have I got the Mark of Mandragora? How many times have I got all the Tom Baker ones? Certainly the Iron Legion. They're
absolutely great, fantastic stuff. But I do wonder how many times you can repackage the same things in a slightly different order and sell them again before it just gets a little bit borderline.
I think the difference here, though, Ian, is, of course, a lot of the stuff that we would have had over the years is now out of print. And because there's new people coming to Doctor Who magazine all the time, allegedly, we might not all be there anymore because it's not as good as it was, but like the show, but there are people there. It's a great way for them to have a look at this. And this is possibly the first time they've put all the backup strips in one volume, because I certainly don't remember that happening before. So that's why I'm quite excited about this one, and why I'm looking forward to seeing it. And they are digitally tarted up as well.
Yeah.
So
you were right, JT. The Dalek ones, I think there was a Cyberman one. Big, thick, $34.99 kind of, but high quality reprints, and those were gorgeous, and they weren't just in your expected retailers. I remember going into a HMV, and they were in the graphic novel section.
Right.
So they're actually, those sorts of things are actually getting into more stores, which obviously is going to help sales. I think it's a really lucrative thing that Panini do. Okay, they're just rehashing, reprinting stuff from the past, but they're presenting it really well. Those, as I say, the Dalek and Cybermen ones were stunning. They're really good quality, and they're really good good stories and good material. It's really exciting to have them available.
Certainly from what you're saying there, I'd like to say to anybody watching here that is craving some Doctor Who and possibly not getting it from what we're being given from BBC Studios, Bad Wolf, Disney Plus, get these, invest in these, because these do hit every mark you want for Doctor Who from back in the day. But I am sensing a theme. We've had the 4th Doctor anthology. Now we're getting this one. This is going to be a whole series, isn't it, everybody? So you better start saving up because they are not cheap. This one, of course, is the recommended retail price. It's available to pre-order now, by the way, and it comes out very soon, 1st of July. It's not that far away. The recommended retail price here is $18.99. You're right, though, Budway. I mean, I saw the 4th Doctor anthology on a face-out in a couple of Waterstones in the graphic novels section. And it really did strike me. You could see it when you're walking towards that section. You're, oh my goodness, there it is there with that gorgeous picture of the 4th Doctor. But this one's going to be the same sort of stuff. And I reckon that one as well will get the face out there because, Ian, as you're saying there, that classic picture there looks brilliant, taken from one of the strips.
Yeah.
And the fact they've called it The Return of the Daleks, I mean, that's a sell because it has got all the others in it as well. But if you've never seen the backup strips, they're classic. They are just brilliant British comic strip gold. And so I would really recommend this one. After the show, go and order it.
Really took elements from Doctor Who's history and Doctor Who's universe and just put additional spins on them that didn't denigrate that history in any way, shape, or form.
No, not at all.
Added to it that Ice Warrior and Cybermen battle on that planet of Goth or whatever.
Thrilling,
amazing, fantastic.
Yes,
it's just absolute genius. Like you said before, Croton, the Cyberman with the soul. Oh my God, you just couldn't help but love Croton.
We all loved Croton. In fact, my Dennis Fisher Cyberman, when I had him, used to travel along with the Doctor and the TARDIS in my little adventures. That was Croton. Because Croton was just a genius character. He really was a Cyberman with where the process of flawed, and he still has his emotions. Beautiful, and he actually returned several times over. But in those few stories, I mean, this was Doctor Who Weekly, 1979 to 1980. This was Doctor Who Weekly, and these stories didn't talk down to us as kids either. These were proper mature stories that anybody of any age could read and get something out of. And I think that's going to be the magic today, because you still can. I mean, I was reading these things at 9 years old and loving them every single week. Superb stuff. So that's a big recommendation from me. Is it from you too?
It's quality stuff.
Probably.
Material,
yeah,
fantastic.
I'll probably get that.
Oh, see, full house from all of us. Go and get that one from Panini. Available from all the usual stockists right now. The Complete Backup Tales Volume 1, 1st of July. Recommended price of $18.89. I'll give you the cover again so you know what you're looking for. It's quite striking. And it is the backup volumes, the Backup Tales Volume 1. So Volume 2 will be with us by Christmas, I am sure. But as ever, we will tell you all about it here on the show. Let's have a look. Dalek, I Love You is saying here, these last few years have been like the wilderness period all over again. Just bring back Doctor Who again. Oh, bless you, Dalek, I love you. But as I say, these things from old Panini are probably going to fill the void that you're feeling there. I think so. Go and get those. And Neville is saying to us, Return of the Daleks is the sort of stuff fans want. Well, we're not going to argue with that, are we, guys?
No, absolutely not.
No. Here's something else,
though, aren't they?
You absolutely are. Well, listen, here's something else that fans might want. And we're going to pop over now to go and see our friends over at Reeltime Pictures. And this latest one from our mate, Neil Cole. This is fabulous. And if you haven't been to Neil Cole's Museum of Classic Sci-Fi, then you should. It's over in Allendale. And this is actually the latest Reeltime DVD about this, called The Monster Man, recommended retail price of $12.99. You can get it from Reeltime themselves, from Reeltime Pictures. But this chronicles Neil's museum in Allendale, which he set up from nothing, and lots of interviews and lots of materials taken from there. Now, between you and I have been there a couple of times now, haven't we? This is great to see, isn't it? This particular DVD.
I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait. I'm probably Neil Cole's biggest fan, and I make no bones about it. What he has done is absolutely extraordinary. To not only set up the Museum of Classic Sci-Fi, but the restoration of props and monsters that were completely knackered and fall into bits is absolutely extraordinary. It's a skill level I can't even comprehend.
No,
And
chance. No.
yeah, I'm really excited to see this DVD. If you've not seen it, the Doctor on Display series, the first installment of that was focused on the Museum of Classic Sci-Fi. That's a great watch. This one, my understanding is it focuses more on the restoration and more of the monster stuff, which is equally fascinating because, how things like Mestor, are still in one piece is just unbelievable.
It is. And if you haven't seen it yet, on our visitations playlist, you can see my trip to Allendale, my first trip to Allendale, on there. The Museum of Classic Sci-Fi, and stay tuned because there might be a few more things dropping in the next couple of weeks all about it. We're planning some stuff there, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, this is available to pre-order right now. The Monster Man from Reeltime.
I will give a little plug. So there is going to be a premiere screening of this in Allendale in a couple of weeks' time.
On Saturday. We better get the date there as well. I haven't got the date handy. If you, what's the date next Saturday?
The 20th, is it?
Is it 20th? Yeah.
20th, that's right. Thank you, Ian. On the Saturday 20th, there is going to be a big, well, it's not really a convention, but it's a big gathering. It's an event that Neil's put together around the Classic Sci-Fi Museum there. Lots of Doctor Who writers. Keith Barnfather will be there as well. So there's lots of that going on. So if you're in the area, look it up. If you're watching live, have a look at that. But if you're not, and you're interested in this, and if you're outside the country as well, you can get this and you can hear all about it. Great series as well from Reeltime. I love those Doctor on Displays ones because I'm a big fan of the exhibition. So it's been fantastic to buy them and get those. So this is going to be a nice little addition to that range for those of us I've got all those. Really looking forward to seeing that. And hello to Neil if he's watching.
I'll send him the link. Another little plug if. I'm not sure if you've got it, JT, but Keith Barnfather recently released a couple of new myth makers. Kate Estriel and Simon Williams, who were recorded at Myth Makers Live a little while ago now. And I have to recommend the Simon Williams one. I was in the audience watching that, and it was something truly special. So Simon Williams, who played Group Captain Gilmore in Remembrance of the Daleks, interviewed by Sophie Aldred. It was genuinely special to watch that because fascinating career that he's had. And honestly, I cannot recommend that particular title enough.
Well, there you go. Thank you for that. You can get all the information from Reeltime website. Go and have a look at that. You can order it directly from them, or you can also, of course, get them from all the usual stockists. In this case, because it's specialized, the usual stockists are, he says, getting the graphic ready, our friends over at the Who Shop, Galaxy 4, and I think Q&A are taking a lot of them as well now, as they're over there with Keith. But yeah, there you go. And you can get them directly from Keith Barnfather at Reeltime as well, as I say on there. But that's a great one to have. There you go. The Monster Man, starring our friend Neil Cole.
It looks
very He's a star. What?
It looks very doctorish there, doesn't he?
It does. It's the glowing light as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I will get to Allendale. I really want to, but
you have to. You have to.
Must. I'll be ordering that.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say hello to everybody that's joined us in the chat, especially to Xman577, who's saying, hello, everybody. How much have I missed? Loads. You've missed loads. If you like that sort of thing, but stay with us right now because we're going to carry on. It's probably nothing that you'd be interested in, X-Man, to be honest, but you can go back and watch it after we've done all this. So let's have a, yes, and Kirsty's put the link into the chat there for you, timetraveltv.com. Absolutely. And that's all the Reeltime stuff. And it's a great website. There's lots of stuff there and a massive, massive back catalogue. Right. Kirsty, Just Jordan, this is the part of the show that you are very, very interested in. So let's get on to this now. Who remembers that last year was Doctor Who's 60th anniversary? It came and went like a summer cloud. which story is that from? But it absolutely was. And to celebrate that momentous, apparently fabulous achievement, when we were all excited, Danbury Mint brought out this little fellow, if you remember. Now, this was the first Doctor, which was brought out to celebrate the first Doctor, obviously, William Hartnell himself, all the way back in 1963. It's limited to 1,963 bears, and you can still get it. They still have some in stock. Yes. So there you go. So if you remember him, and even if you got him, he's a Steiff bear as well. So these are very, very carefully put together and collectible bears. But if you got that, or if you remember him, well, you may remember that I actually said, well, this could set a precedent. And it has, because that one is now joined by this one. This, of course, is now the fourth Dr. Bear. Look at him with his eccentric dress sense. That's their words, not mine. But this is available to pre-order right now. With his eccentric dress sense and fondness for jelly babies, Doctor Who's The Fourth Doctor is generally regarded as one of the most popular and recognizable of all the Time Lord's incarnations. From his first on-screen appearance in an episode titled Robot 50 years ago, he has captured the imagination of watching fans. Now, Steiff, the inventors of the teddy bear, have perfectly recreated the fourth Doctor in teddy bear form as a special limited edition exclusively for Danbury Mint. He's made from genuine mohair, one of the most beautiful and sustainable natural fibers in the world. Emblazoned on his paw pad is the famous Doctor Who logo. You're guaranteed that he's officially authorized. And just look at his fabulous outfit of frock coat, fedora hat, ruby red cravat, patterned waistcoat and grey tweed trousers, topped off with the iconic ultra-long multicolored scarf. He is fully jointed, and the famous button in ear shows that he's a genuine Steiff creation. With only 1,974, get it, 1974, available worldwide, don't miss out on your very own highly collectible Doctor Who treasure. Now, the fourth Doctor Bear is 11 inches tall, which is 28 centimeters standing, and he's available to get now, as you can see from the scroll there, from danburymint.co.uk. So what do we think about that one?
Oh, right. How much is it, JT?
Okay, so watch the scroll down below. Now, these are Steiff bears. They are hugely collectible, as I was saying. Now, putting in mind that the first Dr. Bear is still available now at £325, the fourth Dr. Bear is £349, available right now. There are various ways you can pay for it as well on their website, but it's £349. But I have to say,
they're stunning. They are, wonderful.
He's a little cutie, isn't he?
But oh, so much money.
It is so much money. It really is. Let's have a look at this. X-Man 577, Tom Baker teddy bear. I'd buy that. Now that you know the price, let me know if you will. Timescales is saying to us, Steiff bears from Germany are awesome quality. They're the original bears. They created them, aren't they? So we yeah, they are. Matty, hello, Matty. Want and need. Oh, I know. I mean, you look at it and you just think, oh, he's so great. And look at this. Mark is saying Tom Baker.
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
What would we do without Mark? That's fantastic. I love that. Yes, it's a little bit more a price X-Men over there. Yes, you'd have to convert it because I can't be bothered. Let me get my inhaler, says Kirsty, though I'm not asthmatic. That price. Sam is saying, I love it.
3.
Sorry, Ian?
Kirsty should get 3.
Sam is saying, I'd love it, but not at that price, I'm afraid. I know. Yes.
See, that's the thing. With the action figures, you get one and then you get one to play with. I don't think I could do that with this bear.
No, not at all. But of course, you're paying for the name. You're paying for the quality. You're paying for the quality of the outfit. You're paying for the fact there's only 1,974 worldwide. Just, oh gosh.
It's an excellent version of the scarf as well.
It is. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that.
The colours all seem to match and everything. That's
yeah.
attention to
I mean,
detail.
it's lovely, isn't it? It's lovely. Teddy bears aren't my thing. It's lovely. It'd be nice if they'd done Trout and Pertwee, then Baker, but they're obviously trying to play to what they perceive as the classics. I can't fault them for that. It's a business decision, fair dues. But if I was going to spend 350 quid nearly on merchandise, it wouldn't be on a teddy bear. I could get so much more for that. And my list is already growing before we got to this, JT. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, if you were lucky enough to get the first one, I did warn people on Merchandise Paradise. I was sensing a pattern here. I reckon they'll produce the first 4 at least. But who would be able to resist the cricketing motif of the 5th as a little teddy bear? You could have 5. I don't know. You could have 7. This is a pattern. But this is out, of course, celebrating lots of stuff this year. Celebrating Tom's appearance in 1974. Celebrating his 90th birthday this year, as we know. And just celebrating the fact that this is probably the best Doctor ever. Thank you very much. Editorial comment. But that's there for you if you are if you are able to buy that, or if you're thinking of buying that. And there are, Danbury, on the website, when you go and have a look, there are various options on how to pay for it. But if you want to go and have a look, good luck to you. Let us know if you get it. Send us some pictures of it as well. Let us know what you think about it. It is available right now at danburymint.co.uk.
I'm just having a look at it now, JT. You can sell your car, mortgage your house, or you can sell a kidney. The kidney option sounds particularly very good.
Oh, bless you. That's brilliant. All right. So, yeah, I mean, that's gone down very well in the chat, but it's just the price that's put people off. Yeah. X-Men 577. Tom Baker was my first Doctor. The first episode I saw him in was in The Sunmakers. Oh, yeah. And Kirsty's saying to us, I will die with the 3rd Doctor with ruffles. I'm sure it's on the way. I'm sure they're designing it. I mean, they can't do a Tom and not a John.
Well, this one needs to sell.
Yeah.
Or all the merchandise, as we've said, you know, a lot of it's, you know, down to, are they shifting enough in order to make the production, you know.
Have you seen the range that Danbury Mint do, though? I mean, they've got a beautiful Dougal from the Magic Roundabout, and they've got Captain Manwaring from Dad's Army.
Oh, no. Wow. Okay.
They've got some Paddington, of course. They've got some fantastic classic children's characters there, all presented beautifully. So it's nice to see Doctor Who in with the mix. Yeah,
I saw the James Bond one from Doctor No. That kind of look, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Anyway, so that's that there for you. The Danbury Mint. I'll show you again. Ah, isn't he lovely? Danbury Mint, their 4th Doctor there. Hearts are melting all over now. I can hear them. It's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Right, where are we going to now? Right. Actually, yes, everybody. We're going to jump now several months ahead in a sort of time travel style-y. Because, yeah, I don't get excited about this, everybody. Please, please, please contain that excitement when I tell you about the brand new Doctor Who annual for 2025. Yes, it's been announced. It's on the way. It's going to be released on the 5th of September. It's a recommended retail price of $9.99. Again, this is BBC Books with Penguin under the Puffin brand, as the previous Doctor Who annuals have been ever since 2006, really. So there we go. That is the holding cover for it as well. And that's probably going to be better than the actual cover, let's face it, because the actual cover for the last one was rubbish with that purple nonsense, you know, rubbish, absolute nonsense. And I noticed I never saw it face out. It was always, you know, if you looked at the bookshops, I saw at least 2 or 3 on the shelf in each bookshop because I went looking for it to see how many of the ordered. So you would have quite a few Beanos and you'd have quite a few Dandies and quite a few of the other stuff, you know, and then hidden with spine out would be the Doctor Who one. And there'd be about 3 in each shop. So again, anyway, the blurb is, he says, getting off his soapbox, begin a brand new Doctor Who journey with a brand new official annual. Includes a 15th Doctor story. Yes, contain your excitement. From the Roth Warriors to Unit HQ, from Bi-Regeneration to the Meep, a whole new world of Doctor Who has begun. The first official annual of a brand new era is the must-have companion book to the adventures of a remarkable doctor and an even more remarkable Ruby Sunday. From the latest dastardly villains to the heroes helping to save the day, this book is packed with puzzles, quizzes, and games fit for a toy maker. Just keep an eye out for those pesky goblins.
Will it
Same.
have a pronoun chart?
Probably
Guess
gonna have
the pronouns of different monsters and all that.
Yeah, if you're a parent, you might want to look at this thing before you pre-order it. Wait until it comes out on the 5th of September. Actually, it didn't hit the shelves when they said it would last year. It was actually really late. They said it would come out in September last year. I didn't see it in any of the bookshops at all until late October.
Well, people they don't stock annuals in September because it's a Christmas purchase.
It is a Christmas purchase, yeah. But the Christmas markets in the bookshop do come out in September, so they put them out beforehand, and then they start to do all the publicity and stuff like that. I mean, I did notice the Beano and Dandy are still getting out towards the end of September on the shelves, but they are constant sellers. They are huge sellers. Yeah. And up here, of course, you have things like the Bruins and stuff and like that as well. So you can get some of those, but they didn't seem to be. I mean, the Rupert Annual is still a big seller, for heaven's sake, all these years later, and I saw that one coming in October. They were all the face outs, the ones that were still popular. Doctor Who was on and it was a very thin thing as well. I looked at it and I couldn't even bear to buy it for £1 when I saw it reduced after Christmas in the January sales. And I saw it for £1, reduced from £9.99 in WH Smith to £1. And I still couldn't bear myself. I bought the Rupert one instead. So, you've got all have a look at it first, everybody, and see if it's something that you want. But if it's something that the little kids are looking for and they want the Doctor Who annual, it's there. But it is coming. You can pre-order it now, but I would suggest you look at it first.
I get it every year just as, habit, and it's either a nice Christmas gift for someone to get me, or as you say, JT, I'll pick it up for £1 the first week of January. They're not. I mean, I flick through it. It doesn't. Yeah, it's there's
nothing there. I don't want to unnecessarily annoy or frustrate the person that writes these. Hello to you. Hope you're all well. Nothing personal, but they are missing. I said this before. They're missing a trick because the people that buy these annuals would be us. Yeah. So if you're going to do a childish version on the Puffin logo, which is all those quiz games and basically a spin-off of the old Adventures comic you used to get, somebody somewhere should be doing an official annual, which is a bit more mature. Now, why not give the license back to Panini? Because their annuals were actually very good when they did that first one. Do you remember with the Chris Eccleston and Billy Piper one? And then they did the storybooks, and I think they could do something a little bit more mature.
They do the yearbooks as well, Panini.
Sorry?
Did they do the yearbooks?
They did back in the day. Mind you, I'm just thinking now, with the current crew in there for Panini, they would bend the knee, wouldn't they, necessarily, to the production team, because they'd have to. So maybe it should be another company who would just get the license and do what they wanted. But you could actually do something which celebrates Doctor Who rather than pushes the agenda of the new one. I think there's a market there for somebody. I really do. If you can get the license, which you probably can't because it's tied up by BBC Books and Penguin, but an alternative. Do you remember the Brilliant Books by Clayton and Gareth?
Yes, yeah.
There were 2 of those, weren't there? Now, that was sort of like an annual for adults. Do you remember? Back in 2010 and 2011?
Yeah.
And then they were stopped for various reasons. But I think that sort of thing could actually be an alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, Ian, you mentioned the yearbooks. I mean, I think it was the 96 version. I read through that over and over again. It was just, tremendous. And it had a bit of a comic strip in with, I think it had Beep the Meepin and everything. It was more than we get now with, as you say, the sort of puzzles and crosswords and that sort of stuff that's in the annual as it is now. It's not. I'm not the market, I guess, but I collect them. I get them every year, and I've continued to do that. But
they are for real babies, aren't they?
Yeah, but when there's such a deep market of, Match of the Day's got one, and
that's right.
All the brands that you could possibly think of have an annual of some sort, don't they? So,
but they have all been sort of watered down. I mean, the annuals we used to get from World Distributors were fantastic because you had good in-depth stories back in the day. You had features which weren't necessarily Doctor Who features until JNT came in, but they were quite interesting science fiction or historical features, which you could use the knowledge. Well, I remember reading one about NASA, which was mind-blowing to me at the time, because nobody talked about NASA back then in the 70s. You know, I know we're in a different world, but I do think there's a trick to make more money there, and proper money, if you bring out something which is a little bit more mature, BBC Books, a little bit more grown up for those of us who are diehard fans who aren't going to buy that stuff. Not like him. Do you know what I mean? X-Men 577 is leading a chat in the US. Doctor Who only aired on one channel in his area, and it was a public broadcasting system. It came out at 10 o'clock on Saturday nights. And, you know, that surprised a few people in the chat. I remember hearing that story a long time ago about how people would find Doctor Who for that. Dalek, I Love You is saying, I can't wait for the Gimme the Lovin' t-shirts to come out. Imagine little kids wearing them. It worries me what they might do. It's strange you should say that, because I have heard something about those on the way to Forbidden Planet coming up very, very soon. As soon as we've got the information, I will tell you about those.
I mean, I can't believe they've put Neil Patrick Harris's Toymaker on a t-shirt and people are wearing, you know, yes, I want a character that's a bona fide racist on my chest when I'm just.
Well, it wasn't originally, of course. That's what they've brought in there, haven't they? So
Well,
very frustrating.
All right then.
That's all right then, as Paul would say. Yeah. But anyway, there you go. It's been announced. It is coming back. BBC Books Penguin, and on the Puffin label, hardback. The Doctor Who Annual 2025 is being released, or scheduled to be released, on the 5th of September with a recommended retail price of $9.99, if that interests you. Something else that might also interest you, or might not, because the quality is awful. I've been outspoken about these things for several years, and I'm not going to stop now. But Danilo have already announced the 2025 calendar range. There are several available. The usual square one, he says, screw the square window. That's the usual one, and that's called Classic. Now, of course, now Classic means not just the original 7 Doctors, but all however many we're up to now before Ncuti Gatwa. So what's that, 14? I keep getting confused. I don't know. It could be more now, because they might include the Martin one, and they might include Michael Jaston, and they might include John Hurt. I don't know. I'm terribly confused. But that's coming out with a recommended retail price at the moment of $10.99. On top of that, you've got the 15th Doctor calendar, which is a recommended retail price of $14.99, with brand new pictures which will chronicle Ncuti's first set of adventures as the alleged Doctor. So that will include Church on Ruby Road onwards to whatever, what's it called? The last episode, everybody? The Empire of Death. Thank you.
Well remembered.
Right. Thank you. Do you know how I did that? I thought the Empire of Glass. But anyway, moving on to that. So that's going to be there as well. You've got another one, a brand new one, which is called the Classic A3. So it's an A3 calendar, recommended retail price of $14.99. This again will chronicle Doctors 1 to 14. There are 12 months in a year.
Oh, no. They do 15-month calendars now. It's, yeah.
Yeah, and add an extra £5 onto it. That's why it's $14.99 probably. And on top of that is the usual thing they produce, which is the desk block calendar with a recommended price of $11.99. Now, you can pre-order them from certain sites right now. Okay, but of course they are all due anywhere between the end of September and into November at the Calendar Club shops that spring up across the United Kingdom, the pop-up shops. You'll be able to get them all from the majority of those shops as well. So you might want to look at them before you do. If you're a fan of Danilo, then you will want these, no problem at all. But I think the quality is dire, absolutely awful. And it's been going down and down and down and down for years. It's now just the standard format of throw that in and throw that, and it's all these awful pictures. I will be keeping an eye out, of course, for any alternative calendars that I can suggest to you from the likes of Andrew Skilleter, for example, who tends to do one now. And we will be putting them onto Merchandise Paradise for you when we get all that information. But I thought, you know, for those of you who could be liking the Danilo ones, they're available to pre-order now, but you might want to wait until nearer the time, and you certainly might want to wait until after Christmas. That's all.
You are absolutely right, JT.
Mania ones. Sorry, Bedouin.
No. I was just agreeing with JT. They are dreadful. They usually have rehashes of the same images you've seen over and over again. If they've got quotes on them, they're normally wrong. And there's they are laughable. I completely agree with you, JT.
Well, they're not getting my hard-earned cash because they're just terrible, absolutely awful. But there you go. They're the same as all the others as well, aren't they, Ian? I mean, you look at the Danilo range, and the Doctor Who one is the same format as the Harry Potter one. It's the same as the Liverpool FC one. It's the same as Mother's Weekly one, whatever it's going to be. They're all the same sort of format.
Same format, like the annuals, really. They're all just limp, wet features and quiz games and versions of Snakes and Ladders, aren't they? And
yeah,
I loved the Dalek Mania. I love the Skeletor ones in the 80s, obviously, but and went into the 90s. But and I've still got them somewhere. But you don't know stuff like that out, do you? But the Dalek Mania ones as well were great. Good old classic stuff.
Love that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And perhaps, that's something Studio Canal could bring out.
Well, Studio Canal could do a Dalek movie version one, couldn't they? Do you know what? I'm going to phone them. I said, come on the show. We've got loads of ideas for you. But yeah, I mean, but Danilo have the monopoly now, aren't they? Because they produce everything from Cliff Richard to Madonna to Kylie to Doctor Who to Harry Potter. All of them. They do practically everything now, don't they? Or I better mention the wet ones for my sister, Martin Pillow, as I call him. All that sort of stuff. She loves it. But yeah, there we go. They just produce them all, but they are so lazy, and you can just see template, different picture, print. Gets on my nerves, to be quite honest. But then again, I'm not buying them. But if you are, good luck to you. And they're coming out, and they're available from the 5th of September, and you can pre-order them from some certain stockets right now. But I would say wait until you get a chance to go and look at them in the shop, and then have a good think. That's what I would say.
It's content for your audience, isn't it? Let's serve them up any old crap, because we believe they will buy it.
And some people do. People do. I mean, as some of the kids, the younger ones, it's an expensive present, $10.99 for a classic square. The A3, $14.99. The 15th Doctor one, $14.99, or a desk block calendar. They're not going to want that. $11.99. They put these things on their wall and they use them as posters, don't they? But you can't throw them out at the end of the year at that price. But they are a nice little present for the little ones in your life, I suppose, who are into it, if there are any. I don't know. But I would rather see something with a little bit more creativity in it. And that's why I'm going to be looking for people like Andrew Skeletor and anybody else that comes along to let you know about those. Daryl
Joyce. Yeah.
If you are watching, lovely.
Oh.
You know what I'm asking. You know what I'm asking. We would help you sell that. I can assure you. Anyway, so that's them. And I might mention them again when the covers come out. Depends what mood I'm in, quite frankly. You're watching Who's Views. Welcome. This is Merchandise Paradise Live. As you can see, I'm here with Third Doctor Ian and Badouia, our first Merchandise Paradise Live. So thank you all for watching, and thank you for coming into the chat and sharing what you're thinking. Let me know what you think of this format, if you like it, and if you're enjoying it. Let me know in the comments box as well as if in the chat right now. And let me also know if you're ordering any of this stuff, pre-ordering any, or if you're excited about any of it. I'm not really. But I am with this one, I have to say, because as you will know, if you are a regular viewer of Merchandise Paradise, you will know that I am a huge fan of BBC Audio. I've kicked myself several times over, haven't I, guys, for not buying the Target novelizations when they came out, because I knew where it was going to be. The first thing I thought was cost. The second thing I thought, shelf space, where am I going to put them? But they are fabulous. So I'm now doing everything I can to catch up and try and find the ones that are out of print. But I'm also quite a fan of the original stories that have come out on BBC Audio, because they're so well produced and they're usually very well read. And I'm delighted to say that we've got information of one that's available to pre-order now that isn't coming out until January 2025.
Ooh.
I know. So obviously no cover for this, but if you look at certain sites or certain stockists, you can get it. And it's written by Mike Tucker. This is The House of Plastic. It's coming out on the 2nd of January 2025. It's going to be a retail recommended retail price of CD £14 and download to be announced. And it stars the 7th Doctor with Ace. Okay, the 7th Doctor.
I'm interested.
He does like that era, doesn't he?
Well, it's because he knows Sylvan Soph and because he worked on it as well. But he's done an awful lot. You're right, but he's done an awful lot of stories there, hasn't he? He's done a lot for the BBC book range back in the day. They were always quite fun. Illegal Alien and stuff like this.
Illegal Alien, yeah.
Illegal
Love
Alien was quite good, wasn't it? He did The Matrix. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Return of the Valyard against the Seventh Doctor.
Matrix, no copyright.
So he's done quite a few. So this one is coming out. So again, when I get the more details about this, it's interesting, isn't it? Really, because look at that House of Plastic.
Wonder what that could be.
Wonder.
Crinoids, definitely.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes you wonder. But he's a lovely writer, Mike. I really enjoy his stuff. So this is a definite. In fact, I'm going to be honest. I pre-ordered it already. I couldn't stop myself. I thought, yeah, we'll have that. I can't wait till January now. I'm wishing my life away here, everybody. But yes, The House of Plastic by Mike Tucker is on the way under the BBC Audio original series. It stars the Seventh Doctor and Ace, and as you can see, CD will be £14, and the download I will let you know when we get the cover and a bit more information, including the story synopsis on that. Let's see if any of you are mentioning anything in the chat.
Now that's a paperback that I would go out and get immediately.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a CD. But that's great. It depends who's reading it. If it's Sophie or Sylv, or I don't think Sylvester's read many of them actually, has he? So I don't know, but probably Sophie. Maybe let's have a go with Sophie reading that one, because they are good friends, aren't they? Dalek I Love You saying Daryl should do a calendar. There you go, Daryl.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll pop him a note through later on. Dalek is also saying, now you've just read my mind. Stop it. And Garbage is saying January 2025. Wow, just after the Christmas episode, the last ever Doctor Who episode ever. Garbage, you're very, very naughty. Yeah. But there you go. But when I get this information, I like to bring it to you. And that one, I was just like, oh yes, that sounds good, doesn't it? Got to mention that right now, months ahead, because it is available to pre-order.
I might wait for the cover, but I can see myself ordering that one as well, JT.
Looking forward to it. Sorry, Ian.
I think I would have to admit to probably getting that as well. Yeah.
Well, we'll be back with more details on that as and when we get them, and especially the cover. So looking forward to that. Mike, if you're watching, probably isn't, but thank you very much. We're looking forward to that. We have had still no information at all about the Celestial Toymaker animation. This is the one that Bedouia went to look at. Again, you can see Bedouia's report on the visitations playlist when he went to the BFI to see what they had finished. Because as you said, Bedouia, this thing wasn't finished when they put it on screen that Saturday. We have no information about this. I have been told a couple of times now the cover was due. I can't even tell you if this is the official cover now, because nothing's happening. Now, there seems to be some sort of possible issue with this, because it seems to be going back and back and back and back. We can't comment because nothing's been made official. But it looks unlikely we're going to get it anytime soon. There you go. It's very
strange what's happening with this one, because it felt like the BFI screening was hastily organized, shall we say. Probably due to the availability of NFT1 in the BFI and all that sort of stuff. But to have got, I mean, it was screened before season 15 came out, and to not even be showing the episodes with a release date to announce just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I can't imagine they're still working on it, because it was largely finished. Okay, it was only sort of episode 1 that was had a few issues with it. I can't imagine they've actually taken any notice of everyone saying how rubbish it looks, because they're
well, if they haven't, more fool them, because it's been I'd like to know how many people like myself, when those images we used, those sort of photographic things came out, the illustrations, cancelled it. Because there must have been a lot of us. Between that and the Daleks in colour, we cancelled an awful lot. There must have been quite a lot of us who went, no, thank you. And because people like you went to the BFI and have come back and said, oh my goodness, this is a bit dodgy, that's going to be more, isn't it? So Dalek I Love You is saying to us here, apparently it has been delayed due to issues, apparently, to which Neville says, yeah, the issue is nobody likes it, which is fabulous. Garbage was also saying that it's not finished as they haven't even started it. But, again, we're all in the dark about this one. We can speculate till the cows come home. But we don't know. Nothing's happening. So keep in tune with us here at Who's Views, because as soon as we've got anything, I'm sure we're all going to be discussing it, whether it be on Merchandise Paradise or it be on the other show, Headlines. Who knows?
If they cancel it and never release it, it'll more likely get a better status as a missing DVD release that people want to get as a curio. They'll probably get more sold that way than.
Don't give them ideas.
Yeah. Than as a formal release. They should just do the decent thing and cancel.
They're going to have to release it because they've spent money on it, haven't they? They're going to have to release it. They may not recoup it in their sales. Do you know, I've always been saying I'll probably get it when it's $7.99 on the shelves at HMV or wherever in the sales. I'm not even bothered about doing that now. Do you know what I mean? I found these lovely fan things where you can actually just put one of the original sort of classic DVD covers on an empty box and stick it in there, you know, where it's supposed to be. I might just do that.
I've got a few sleeves that, you know, I could.
Yeah. Because fans are clever, and that's what they do. But anyway, that was just to tie that in because, of course, we all know we're all in the same boat. It hasn't been officially brought to our attention yet. As soon as it does, we'll do a show and we'll all come and talk about it. If you are buying it, let us know. If you've still got it on pre-order, please let us know in the comments. If you cancelled it, let us know in the comments. I want to know, has this thing moved? Who knows? Going to do something new now for Merchandise Paradise live. We're going to actually talk about a rumor, which is something I don't usually do, but because it's live, let's do it. Let's have a look. Because I've got you two here now as well, and we've got people watching us as well. Thank you to everybody that's watching us. Got quite a lot of people watching us. What do you think of the rumor of the next character option set? Now, these pictures have leaked over social media over the couple of days, so I'm not really worried about putting them out there because you may have seen them already. But if you haven't, have a look at these. Now, these are this is rumored to be the next online character options exclusive. Shock. Ruins of Skaro, a collector figure set. It actually says there, character online exclusive in the new packaging. And as you can see, 2 Movellans and a Destiny Dalek with all the bums. It looks lovely. I really like the look of this. Thank you very much to whoever posted these online. The problem is, because it was leaked, we don't know who it was, and suddenly it went all over social media. So if you haven't seen these, well, if you have, hurrah. But there you go. That's obviously what it looks like there. This is the back with all the usual blurb there. Nicely done, I think. Really nicely done. And as you can see there, it says 2 Movellans, 2 Movellan warriors, and 1 Dalek with bums. And let's have a close-up. I can hear Alex Storer getting very excited right now. But look at that background. Now you can look at the little gun there as well. Can you see the little Movellan gun just there on the bottom right? Isn't that gorgeous? But the background there is the screen of the Movellan ship. So it is in the Movellan ship. So this actually looks like it is the one. This is what's coming next to a character online exclusive. I am really excited about this. I'm having this. Love it.
I am genuinely excited about this one. I had seen version or the prototypes of the Movellan figures. I think those had been leaked a little while ago. I'd seen,
yes, they had,
the more finished version of the Movellan. So it was, it's definitely been on the cards for a while. The Dalek is a massive thing because I think it was only released in one Tom Baker set.
Yes, it was.
And those are incredibly rare because I think they were a Toys R Us exclusive, and you cannot find them. And if you can, they are a hell of a lot of money.
They're around about £120 upwards if you find them at the comic fairs. You can still get them. There was a Genesis one, a Destiny one, a Resurrection one, Revelation one, and Remembrance.
It wasn't that set. So there was a Destiny of the Dalek set, but it didn't have the bombs in it. This was only. What have I got down there then? No, this was only in a 4th Doctor set with, I think, a Tom Baker figure, a Syrian mummy, that sort of thing. I think it was that.
Oh yes, that's the one I'm looking. Yes, I can't see it because I've got the ring light on. But yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was the collector's one. That's right.
It was only in that set that you could get a Destiny Dalek with the bombs attached. And obviously it was disappointing when they did the History of the Daleks Destiny set that it didn't have that in. My worry is that Al Dewar will now pull it because it's been leaked.
Well, if he does more, fool him. If he does more, fool him. Because, you know, the interest in this is phenomenal. And they've got a sale here. And let's face it, they need a hit. Because I hear that the last one wasn't. And the last one, of course, was the woman doctor, the other woman doctor. Now, I hear that wasn't a massive hit. I can also tell you that the Warriors of the Deep one with the Silurians wasn't a massive hit because it's still in stock and you can still get the Warriors of the Deep one. So they need a hit.
Very cheap. I think it's only. I think it's down to like $9.99.
Because they reduced the price and did a marketing campaign on it, so you can get it for practically nothing. Ian, you got one, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And to be fair, I thought they were really decent models, nice size and everything. And yeah, but I mean, this I do have a Suicide Dalek, which there's a shop in York. It's an antiques centre in York, and if you go downstairs, they have. There's a seller that they have who rents a couple of cabinets from there, and they sell his stuff for him. And he has a lot of figures from various shows and models and figurines and things. And there's a good, healthy Doctor Who chunk in there. And I've had a few things over the time, and Suicide Dalek was one. I think I got it for about 25 quid just on its own.
Oh, that's very reasonable.
Yeah, and it's there with the other Destiny Daleks that came in those sets. So I got 2 of those sets, so I got 4 of those. But I can see myself getting a couple of these sets at least. So I have 2 more Suicide Daleks and 4 Novellans would be.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Yeah, I was thinking about this as well, saying depending on the price, but I would like 2 of these because it does look fantastic. I mean, I'd open one and keep one in the box. So let's hope this is the next one. If they do pull it, Bedwyr, more fool them because this will sell. This is going to be a good seller for them.
I think unfortunately the Warriors of the Deep set, because it was 3 Silurians and having 3 identical figures was a difficult sell, and I think that one was tricky, and I think it needed probably a Sea Devil in that really for it to
2 Silurians and a Sea Devil, or 3 Silurians and a Sea Devil from Warriors and Deep in there, or even a Merca.
So I think that set, unfortunately, as you said, they've still got loads in stock. They didn't sell
on the website now.
Yeah, as much as as many units. I mean, I bought 3 of them, so I tried. I tried, guys. And I was tempted when it's come down to $9.99 to buy a 4th set. But
there you go.
But
I suppose they struggled a bit, didn't they? Because it was a Silurian triad, wasn't it? So I suppose it
had to have
3. So they would have had to do that. But I think it wouldn't have cost them a huge amount to repaint and re-kit out a Sea Devil or whatever, really.
Well, who knows what's coming next? But there you go. That was the leaked information for this week. So it looks like this will be the next character online exclusive: The Ruins of Skaro, 2 Novellans, and a Dalek with bims. That could be coming our way very soon. Fingers crossed. So keep an eye out for all that when it's coming along. I'd like to say hello to Paul, who's joining us as well. Paul Roten's there. Hello, nice to see you. Garbage is telling us that the Silurians was a mistake, even from his point of view. 3 identical, no thanks. There you go. So that's, I mean, but if you want it now, you can get it as a real bargain price from the Character Online website. Because it really is gorgeous.
With certain things like the Silurians, I know some of these, they had the little hole. This one does the light in the top that if it got the light in it, it made the. I don't know if it'll show up here if I put my phone over.
Oh, the lights, yeah.
You see the eyes glowing, and they could have done that with maybe one of the Silurians just at the back, so the 3rd eye lit up or something like that. Just something different.
Yeah. One was just painted red.
Yeah. When these get light on them, they look really good.
They're great models. I think they're absolutely gorgeous, and to the point now where I would like the Warriors of the Deep, Sea Devils, and also the Merca. They must have some sort of dinosaur model they can mush up to make it look like the Merca there. I don't know. It's somewhere in stock at Character. You must do somewhere. Let's just say hello to Doug. Doug is saying, damn, I overslept. I love these merchandise shows. It was my introduction to Who's Views. Well, that's nice, Doug. We're live on this one. Yeah, so it's nice to see you. This is Merchandise Paradise Live, the first time we've done this one live. So, yes, you can go back and look at this because we're nearly at the end now. So nice to see you. Nice to see you. What else we got? Yeah. Oh, right. Garbage is also saying to us now, I would get it at a reduced price, no problem. Well, it's available. The Silurian Warriors of the Deep one is available now on their website for a reduced price.
Yeah,
they are gorgeous.
They're really nice models, and I remember the Dapol version, which was a bit smaller and therefore lacking somewhat in detail. And these are very impressive.
Oh, bless him!
5-inch figures.
Yeah, they are. They're lovely. Mark is asking in the chat. Mark is asking in the chat, anybody buy these sets on sell and ship to America? The online exclusives are available worldwide from Character. Okay, so they are available there, but you might want to check with Who NA. Go and check with Keith at Who NA because he does tend to get some of the B&M ranges in there. I know I've seen them as I've spoken to him, and they've been there. So whona.com, check with them, check with Keith, see what he's got in. But the Character online exclusives, as far as I'm aware, are all available for anybody in the world. Go and check, just have a check. And yeah, if they are, there you go. I'm sure they are, because that one that Bedouia's got from that one that's just been out recently that I really don't want to talk about and pay any attention to. I've seen people outside the UK.
Especially, I did put it there especially because it's a merchandise episode.
Cover it up.
Absolute rubbish. But I did see various people that have been hoodwinked into buying that from out with the UK going, oh, look what I've got. Oh, please get a life. Anyway, Neville is saying, give me the Daleks. And Paul is saying to us, I sold my 3rd and 5th Doctors with TARDIS sets, just didn't sit right with the Whittaker logo. You didn't take it out of the box. What did you do that for? Just take it out of the box. They don't look right. It doesn't look right. And the new package sets there, as we all see, are much nicer.
The white
really are.
Yeah.
Dalek, I love you, sent you. I hope you're going to do more live ones. It's been great even for us non-merchies. Well, the rule is it's always merchandise, not merch on this show. Guess it's right. Yes, it's merchandise. Yes. If you want them, if you like this particular one, then we will do more live as we get them every now and then. So if you like this new format of Merchandise Paradise, where we're doing it live, then let me know in the comments. Or you can get in touch with us, whosviews1@gmail.com. Going back to Celestial Toymaker for a minute, and Dalek, I love you, is saying, my friend who's a diehard Doctor Who fan cancelled his Toymaker DVD. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, listen, that's all. That's a roundup there. If anything else comes our way merchandise-wise, then we will be back to let you know about it. There are various rumours going around. That's all I'm saying. So we could be back with more updates for you as it happens. Let's put it that way. But I'm expecting them. I'm expecting a few more things and a few more covers to come through. So we might be back in April. Otherwise, we'll come and do another one next month. Let us know what you thought. Don't forget to like the video. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Come and join us in the chats for all our shows. We've got a lot of different shows going on for you here. We've got coming up, Headlines is back this Sunday. If you're watching us live, we're going to be back here, this channel, 7:30. We've also got next week our Time Meddler review. Yes, so come and do that as our Playing for Laughs season kicks off with that. And lots more coming for you as well as we build up and build up and build up. So thank you very much. Yes, so please do let us know if you've liked this version of Merchandise Paradise Live. Guys, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Good. I'm pleased. Thanks to Kirsty and Garbage in the chat as ever. Thank you all for joining us as well. Until we see you again on any of our shows, have a fabulous time and see you again soon. Bye-bye. Look after yourselves.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.